Hey, this is Rick Casalge, injury specialist from exercisesforinjuries.com. In today's video, what I want to go through are 5 exercise modifications you can do if you have arthritis. Now, the first couple are just some tips to do. And then at the end, we'll go through a couple exercise modifications that you can do. Now, number 1 is, stick to low impact exercises. So examples would be yoga, Pilates, light weight training. So look at low impact exercises to start off with. I mean, the more high impact exercises you do, and this could be like running, or a lot of activity that involves jumping. This puts a lot of stress on your joints and can irritate your arthritis. So look at doing low impact exercises, but it's still important to strengthen the muscles around the joint, because strengthening the muscles around the joint will decrease the stress that you have on those joints, especially the joints that have arthritis. Now, second exercise modification is try low impact exercises. And examples would be, and this is specifically, try low impact aerobic exercises. And examples would be like biking, elliptical, swimming, water aerobics, because these are all great exercises that work on unloaded range of motion. So like with the bike, you're not loaded, you're not standing on your legs. I mean, but with the bike, it works on the range of motion of your knee, which is great, so if you have knee arthritis, but you also are strengthening the muscles around the knee and in the hip. So if you're doing aerobic exercises that involve like high impact work, and the most obvious is running, try some of the other low impact aerobic exercises like biking, elliptical, swimming, or water aerobics. Now, third modification is exercise larger body parts and muscles first, and then move on to smaller ones. So examples, would be, work on, your shoulder joints, your hip joints, and your knee joints first, before you move on to exercise that really target like your hands, or involve a lot of gripping, or involve like your feet and toes. Look at, tip number 4 is look at doing daily flexibility exercises, and always look at doing a warm-up and a cool-down. Just adding the flexibility stuff, because if you're excessively tight, that'll put greater strain on your joints, which will irritate your arthritis. Also, by doing the warm-up and the cool-down, those will also loosen up your body as well, help with recovery, and decrease the stress on your joints, and it'll decrease the irritation of your arthritis. Now, the 5th one is now going through some modifications that you can do. So looking at common exercises that people do in the gym, or in the workout routines, and alternatives that you can do. And when it comes to this one, I'll bring Jenna up, and she'll go through some of the exercises. So the first one is squats. So if the body weight squat is too much for you to do, or a loaded squat, you can move to doing a ball squat. So you can take the ball up against the wall, put it in the lower back, and then squat down and back up. And with this one, I mean, what we're doing here is we're focusing more on the hip area and the glutes and the hips, as opposed to around the knee, by just making that modification. Now, if that is too easy, the bilateral squat, you can try going on single leg, and you'll notice it's significantly a lot more challenging, but easier on the joints. Now, looking at number 2, push-up movements. So what you can do as an alternative for the push-ups is bring in the resistive bands and go through a chest press with the band. Good, and I'll get you to face that way. So you can bring in the bands if by doing the regular push-up is too much, it irritates your elbows, it irritates your hands or your wrists. That's an alternative you can do. Now, number 3, lunges are a common thing that bother people in their knees and in their hips. especially if they have arthritis. You can give a seated single leg press with handles a go. Good. And then if you're in a gym setting as well, I mean, you can, if you have like a leg press, you can do like a leg press machine or a single leg press as well if you want more of a challenge. But you can also pick whatever resistance that you want. So Jenna went with red. I mean, you can go with more and more of a challenging resistive band. Now looking at the fourth exercise, so a common one is the plank. So looking at, instead of the regular full plank, from the toes, you can do an alternative and do the plank from the knees. Okay, and that still ends up being challenging, but is easier on the feet and easier on the shoulders. And the fifth one is like a quick stretch and cool down that you can add, and it's like walking in place with hand stretch, and Jenna will go through it. So with the walking, it's low impact, but we're getting movement in the feet, ankle, knees, and hips. And then with the hands, we're just going through range of motion, getting the hands moving. And then a lot of times with the joints, I mean, they will, with movement, they will loosen up and they'll lubricate so that it's easier for them to move. Perfect. Thanks, Jenna. So there we go. We went through like 4 different training tweaks that you can do in order to help if you have arthritis, and then we went through 5 different, common exercises that you see in the gym and tweaks that you can make in order to make them easier if you have arthritis. So there you go. So this is Rick Cassell's from exercisesforinjuries.com. Now, if you have knee pain or tightness, what I recommend you do is click right here. I have a brand new free report called 5 Tips and Tricks That Fight Knee Pain and Tightness. Just click right here. Let me know where to send you that report, and I'll send you that report right away. If you're watching this on a mobile device, tablet, or smartphone, head down below in the description and click the first link, which will be exercisesforinjuries.com/knees. Let me know where to send it, and I'll send it to you right away. Now, if you got benefit from this video, make sure to like this video. If you have a question or comment for me, you can leave it down below in the comments section. And lastly, hit subscribe to get future pain relieving videos.